These new age adults are exactly why I'm afraid to have kids. Because they want to be the kids. Like, the grandma's the baby. Currently going viral on Twitter right now because I had retweeted a post where Sexxy Red was mad because she couldn't go and perform or speak at a school. And I said that I've been telling y'all her target audience is kids. Because it is. That's what I believe. That's what I see with this shit. You don't gotta agree. I don't care. A lot of these new age artists target kids with very hypersexual and explicit content. I feel like my point is proven seeing that she's mad she can't go into a fucking school. Because why, as an adult entertainer whose music is on the verge of erotica, would you even think it's appropriate for you to show up at a school and then show up like that? Smelling like marijuana with your cleavage hanging out. Baby, you wouldn't even be able to go visit your baby daddy in prison looking like that. But that's how you show up for the kids. Okay. 2, why would adults even think it is morally right to book a fucking Sexxy Red to come speak to kids? From the teachers to the fucking superintendent to, why would y'all think that's acceptable? The adults of this generation do not want to protect children. They just want to exploit them. Y'all don't see black kids as kids. You don't see black children as children. This is why y'all in my comments in my last videos mad at me because I don't agree with an 18-year-old being a 304. The amount of adults in my comments trying to justify this shit is just like blowing my mind. Somebody said, well, adults love Sexxy, kids love Sexxy. What adult is condoning their child listening to Sexxy Red? Even I had to sneak to listen to Kaya. The adultification of black kids right now makes me want to fucking slap every bitch in here. A lot of these new age adults remind me of those older monitors who would come and substitute after school and who would think they was one of the kids. I'll never forget, I had a whole beef with one of these grown-ass monitors. Literally, I had to call my mom up to the school because she beefing with me like she a kid. Literally. You mad at me, but you kicking it with the whole football squad. And what's funny is she ended up getting fired years later because they got found out that she was messing with one of the kids. And that's what y'all be giving. Like, weirdo behavior. Y'all are blurring the lines. Y'all do not want to hold space for the kids. I told y'all hating bitter aunties is in the club with y'all now. They in the club turning up with you. They don't want to be your auntie. They don't want to be a big sister. They don't want to be your mentor. They your fucking competition. Confirmation. You can go to the club right now and see an 18-year-old with the same aesthetic as a motherfucking 35-year-old. It's weird. Y'all are weird. The grandma.
So in this video, I want to talk about why so many endorse Sexxy Red. To endorse means to approve, support, or sustain. Endorsement is an act of saying or showing that you agree with or support something or someone. Okay, so for clarity, let me clarify what endorsement looks like. So to endorse somebody, it would look like you working with them, making a song with them. It would look like endorsing or supporting their behavior or what they stand for. It would look like endorsing, like, you know, reposting something that they said. That's endorsement. That's what it looks like in the flesh. Okay, so in the video that I played earlier, the young lady, she made a lot of really good points in her video. However, in this video, I want to cover 3 main points in this video. So point number 1, I want to talk about the fact that Sexxy Red and those like her are able to connect to a large population of people, specifically black people. I also want to take a closer look at those who endorse Sexxy Red. And then lastly, which is the 3rd point, I want to talk about Sexxy Red's popularity among kids, and then also talk about who is responsible for protecting the kids.
Nobody called.
So look, so this school put me, I came up here, got you, try to talk to the kids, get in the water today, they gonna put me on me. Tell me I smell like weed, watch this. He gonna try to get mad. Bitch, you're nobody.
Bitch, you like I'm finna sit with y'all.
They ain't come to see you, Otis.
Otis?
Bitch. You heard who they screaming for. How y'all?
They put
my head up.
They put us out.
Okay, so starting with point number one, Sexy Red and those like her are able to connect to a large population of people. So I think, this is my opinion, you guys, that Sexy Red does this three ways, right? One of the ways is trauma bonding. All right. Another way is being relatable. And another way is acceptance, right? So I think that when it comes to the trauma bonding, if you really examine or take a look at Sexy Red's songs, Sexy Red in her songs, she raps and talks about a lot about either sex or, a baby daddy or something very degenerate, right? And so when I say trauma bonding, look, this is the thing. There are a lot of single mothers within the black community. And I know we get tired of hearing that statistic, but it's true. It is what it is. And so Sexy Red and her team or whoever is pushing her has found a way to monetize that. And yes, I call it trauma because it is, because there are a lot of young girls and young women and young men who have been traumatized, behind having kids with the wrong person, becoming a baby daddy, becoming a baby mama. More specifically, since Sexy Red is a woman and she's a young woman at that, in her early to mid 20s. Sexy Red uses that to make money. The fact, she got a song called F My Baby Daddy. And F My Baby Daddy, I mean, I'm looking at the song as a single, childless woman, like, okay, that song doesn't move me at all. However, there are a lot of young girls and young women and just women in general that can relate to that song, right? They like that song. They feel that song. And so the trauma behind all of that, I think that she uses, her own experiences, and she's been able to monetize that. Some, smart person on her team has been able to monetize that specifically among the black community, as a way for her to make money off of that. So that's one thing that I would say, helps her connect to a large population of people, specifically black people. Because like I said, I think the baby mama is like what, like over 75% or something like that of the black community have, single mothers, making them baby mothers. So that's one thing. Another thing is that Sexy Red is, relatable. She's relatable because number one, she is a baby mama. Number two, she's a single, baby mama. Before she just had this last child, she was big and pregnant. So she's out there flossing that big pregnant stomach. Here recently, she's also talked about, abortions and all this kind of stuff. So again, relatable because again, you have a lot of young women who can relate to those very things, the baby daddy, the pregnancy, all of that. Now, I'm not saying all of black community can, because that would be a lie. You can never say all. However, there is a large segment, a large population of the black community who can relate to those topics. And like I said, Sexy Red has experienced that. That is real life for her, and she's found a way to monetize that. And then she's also being pushed out, and made popular with coming from that point of view. The last thing is the acceptance thing. So now this is the thing that I'll say. If when you can't relate to Sexy Red on the baby daddy tip, and you can't relate to Sexy Red on the pregnancy tip, and or either one of those, you can relate to her possibly on the sex tip, because again, within the black community, when there's nothing else to talk about, there's always, you can always talk about sex. You can always talk about sucking peen, or how you gonna do it, or how you gonna do flips on it. You can always twerk. That'll always get you some attention. That'll always make you relevant sometimes. So that's what she does. And so being, Sexy Red being able to basically just be her, hood, ghetto, ratchet self is many people's dream. And it's not just women, it's men too. Just as a black person, I mean, there's a such thing called code switching, right? And basically what that means is you know how to go into certain segments or certain places and code switch, mean you turn off how you would normally talk, how you would normally act, how you would normally be, and make sure that you are presenting in a way that is for whatever environment that you're in. However, Sexxy Red, people like Suki Hana, they do not do that. They don't do that. And so there's a lot of people or a segment of people who can relate to that. They can relate to the acceptance. There are so many people who want to just be, they don't want to elevate. They don't want to, learn nothing new. They don't want to, do any of that, change anything. They want to just be able to go wherever and be however and not elevate whatsoever. And, sometimes elevating can be twisted to believe that, oh, well, now that I have money, I have elevated. Sexxy Red has money and has not elevated. Okay, you have a lot of people who have money and they're still doing some of the same things that they were doing when they didn't have any money, when they were broke. So money does not automatically equal elevation. All right. When you learn something new, when you're able to point out things that have not worked for you, that it has not worked for you, and you're able to point those things out and then change those things or make those things better, that's elevation. Elevation is not always connected to money, but people think, oh, I want to be able to be how I am, not change, not make any, types of, whatever, and be accepted. And the fact of the matter is, it works for Sexxy Red, but that will not work for everybody. And that's what these young people are missing. These young girls, these young adult women are missing. They think that, oh, well, I can do a Sexxy Red. And that is far and few in between. Everybody can't do that. I know that social media pushed that imagery, and it seems like you can do that when you got the bad girls and all these scenes where they're fighting and being crazy and ratchet and ghetto. That does not work for everybody. You can't go into a regular place of business and think that you finna, maintain or get a job or, be in a career doing that type of stuff. So I'm going to move on to the next point. The next point is, let's take a closer look at those who endorse Sexxy Red, right? So those who endorse Sexxy Red, I think the biggest endorsement that I've seen Sexxy Red get is being endorsed by Drake and being able to work with Drake or other celebrities, right? And I would say the reason why Drake and other celebrities endorse Sexxy Red, they're not endorsing Sexxy Red because they think she can rap or they really like her. They're endorsing Sexxy Red because either they're getting paid or they want to reach kids. Because, again, Sexxy Red, is one of her target population is kids. I personally think that they're trying to do a Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has been able to, do what we see her doing with her following, and you got people trying to do the same thing. They're trying to reach these kids, and it's, in my opinion, it's disgusting. But I'm gonna keep going. So, another thing is the adults in these schools that are booking and paying Sexxy Red to come out. Why are they doing that? I have to ask myself that, because I'm like, why? What adult, what person on any board would bring Sexxy Red into a school to talk or even perform for these kids? Like, who is doing this? But again, I have to say, it to me boils down to relevance. I have a lot of people who think that to stay and be relevant, they have to also indulge in degeneracy. They have to also endorse the degeneracy. They have to also endorse the trend or what is popular. And unfortunately, you have a lot of adults who are either far removed from what's going on in society, or they know exactly what's going on, but they're so desperate to stay and be relevant to try to hold the attention of these kids, or to try to in some weird way connect with these kids, and so they think that it is appropriate to bring out Sexxy Red. They think it's appropriate to, even if it's having her talk to them, that is still showing endorsement. And you guys already know what endorsement means. It means to support, to approve. That means you are supporting and approving everything public that comes with Sexxy Red. And Sexxy Red has been very upfront about who she is. She's been very upfront about what she is about. She has been very upfront and not shameful about anything in her past or that she's done. So these schools are endorsing that so that they can stay relevant, at least in their eyes, or be relevant with these kids that they're trying to reach. And it's just not working. It's actually backfiring, if you ask me. But that's a whole nother story. And lastly, I can't, leave this particular point without pointing out that when it comes to taking a closer look at those who are endorsing Sexxy Red, we also have to look at a lot of these big social media platforms. So these social media platforms who, is playing her or who is posting her, and, they're posting her for likes and views, of course, because usually it's something that, she's doing that has some kind of connection to some type of either drama or degeneracy. But we have to also mention the social media platforms. And a lot of times when it comes to social media, you have a lot of young people who have access to social media, particularly, TikTok in particular, where, because they have the access, they're watching the content because, again, it has something to do with something that is vile or degenerate. And unfortunately, that sells. So moving on, the very last point, the third point, and that is the popularity that Sexxy Red has among the kids.
I ain't gonna hop down on that. Oh, smack that ball.
And then also who's responsible for protecting these kids. Now, in the video that I showed, clearly we can see Sexxy Red is very popular among kids. In the video, it looked like it was high school students. It could have possibly been middle school, but that's neither here or there. Either way, they're still kids. And so clearly she's very popular. Clearly she's very popular among the black children. Okay, these black kids. So I have to ask myself now, who is responsible for protecting these kids? Because we will say it's the parents, but we see what that is. I mean, like old girl said in the video, you'll see the auntie out at the club with, the niece and nephew that she raised, out here for the competition. You'll see the parents endorsing, some of the younger parents endorsing Sexxy Red as well. You'll see videos where the little girls or little boys are dancing to a Sexxy Red. And so, we see how that is going. I would also say it's the community. But again, look at the community. A lot of these big major platforms that are posting and pushing Sexxy Red, these black platforms, they're posting and pushing Sexxy Red. They have a lot of black young people who are following them. So I would say it's the community. I would say it's also the immediate community, these neighborhoods. But we can't even say that because, again, look at what's going on in these neighborhoods. I would say it's supposed to be the laws and the policies. But again, I would be wrong in saying that because, look, you got schools out here bringing Sexxy Red to the schools to speak. So what policies are they violating? What laws are they violating? Clearly none. Clearly none. So, I would have to agree with the young lady in the video that I played earlier. There is nobody really protecting these kids. So who's supposed to be protecting them? If it's not the parents, if it's not the community, and if it's not these laws and policies, who are supposed to be protecting the kids? Because I would say it would be all three of those that I named and more. But those are just the major ones. But the way that things look from my observation, it's not the parents, it's not the community, and clearly it's not these laws and these policies. So that was my third point. But in conclusion, you guys, before I leave the video, I want to ask you guys some questions. I got 3 questions. So, is there an agenda towards the kids, specifically black kids? Also, why do they have Sexxy Red going after these black kids? And then lastly, why are the kids drawn to Sexxy Red? Like, you guys tell me your thoughts down in the comment section. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in. I appreciate you guys. And till next time, you guys be safe. Bye.